Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, we know that computer is very important nowadays. Our entire life means in every aspects of life we have a little bit of use of computer, be it in the official purposes or educational purposes, or in every other thing we can think of. There is a little bit of use of computer. Nowadays in online studies also we are getting the use of computer. Therefore it is recommended to have a very nice CPU so that you can have lag free performance, and therefore if you are thinking to upgrade your RAM, there are certain things to remember. So let's start today's video and learn them all. So let's start with the series things to keep in mind while installing a new RAM. Okay guys, so the things you got to keep in mind are: number 1, capacity and number of slots; number 2, DDR3 DDR4 RAM; and number 3, the clock speed. Okay guys, so let's start with the first one, capacity and number of slots. Okay guys, so here you have to know the maximum RAM capacity a motherboard can hold. For example, if my motherboard can hold 32 GB of RAM and it has 4 RAM slots, then each RAM slots can occupy 8 GB of maximum RAM. So that means you have to buy 8 GB RAM so as to complete the whole 32 GB cycle. Therefore you can buy your RAMs accordingly. Guys, all these details of maximum capacity and number of slots you can get from the official motherboard page. So if you search the motherboard model on the Google, then like in my case it is Gigabyte MS861Si, the first search you will get of www.gigabyte.com or the official website. Click on that search link and you will get all the details regarding a motherboard, the number of slots, the maximum capacity it can hold. Say in my case, my motherboard has 2 slots. You can see 2 into SO-DIMM, and it can support up to 8 GB of RAM. You can see it is written up to 8 GB. That means 8 divided by 2, each slot can support 4 GB RAM. That means I have to buy 4 GB RAM to put in each slots. Okay guys, you can also get other informations like what kind of motherboard it is. In my case it is a mini ITX form factor motherboard, and which processors does it supports. Like it supports in my case Intel 2nd or 3rd generation core processors. Then what are the features, like it has 1 GB LAN and second 2 SATA 3 GB sports. And so guys, like this you can get the maximum RAM capacity of a motherboard and the number of slots, and therefore you can buy your RAMs accordingly. Okay guys, so let's go to the second topic, DDR3 or DDR4 RAM. Guys, we have two types of RAMs, DDR3 and DDR4 RAM. Guys, both these types of RAMs can be found in the computer nowadays, but DDR4 RAM is much more advanced and better than DDR3 RAM. Now I will do a comparative study and tell you which RAM is better and why. Okay guys, so let's start. Guys, DDR3 RAM has a clock speed of 800 MHz, the minimum clock speed, to a maximum clock speed of 2133 MHz, whereas DDR4 RAM has a minimum clock speed of 2133 MHz and no maximum clock speed, which really proves it is a better one. Guys, now let's talk about the memory. Guys, DDR3 RAM can hold a maximum memory of 16 GB, but DDR4 RAM has no limit, means it has no maximum memory and we can store as much as we want. Guys, now let's talk about the power consumption. Guys, DDR3 RAM consumes more power than DDR4 RAM. Also guys, DDR4 RAM is much more expensive than DDR3 RAM. Also guys, for extra information, DDR3 RAM stands for double data rate 3 and DDR4 for double data rate 4. So guys, we have to go to the official motherboard page and see what type of RAM does a motherboard supports. Okay guys, so let's start the next topic. The last topic is the clock speed. Guys, the clock speed can be defined as the speed of the RAM. Therefore, the more the clock speed is, the faster and the better will be the RAM. And to know about your clock speed, you have to go to the official motherboard's page. Guys, as I had told you, you have to go to the official motherboard page. So I have searched the motherboard. You have to go to the official link of the motherboard brand. Guys, one thing is that if you have a DDR4 motherboard, like over here you can see it is written that I have 2 slots which are both DDR4, 2 into DDR4, which can support a maximum 32 GB and 2133 MHz. So guys, as I had told that as DDR4 RAM has a minimum of 2133 MHz, then you have to make sure that you buy a RAM of clock speed of 2133 MHz or more. But guys, if you have a motherboard which supports DDR3 RAM like this 1GB MSH61SI, then you will find it difficult because you have to make sure that you have a RAM which is less than 2133 MHz clock speed. Like, I have to make sure what does a motherboard supports. Like, my motherboard supports RAM between 1333 MHz to 1600 MHz. So you have to make sure the clock speed is between these 2 MHz. Okay, so this is the drawback of having a DDR3 RAM, and therefore it is recommended to upgrade the motherboard and buy a motherboard which supports DDR4 RAM. Also guys, you have to make sure that both the RAMs you buy should have the same clock speed. For example, if I buy a DDR4 RAM of 2331 MHz and another of 155 MHz, then of course it will not work because both are different. Therefore you should buy the RAM with same clock speeds. This thing is very important if you are thinking to buy more than one RAM. Therefore you should make sure that both the two RAMs, whether DDR2 or DDR4, should have the same clock speed. Of course DDR4 will have a clock speed of more than 2133 MHz, but DDR3 will have a problem. The problem is that you have to make sure that both the RAMs have the same clock speed less than 2133 MHz, and you have to make sure that the motherboard also supports that clock speed. Therefore it is much problematic. Guys, another thing is that whether the RAM is DIMM or SO-DIMM. Guys, though this topic was not mentioned before, but it is also equally important while buying a new RAM, so you should also keep this in mind. Guys, so there is a very minute difference between SO-DIMM and DIMM RAM. I will explain it now. So basically guys, we use a DIMM RAM in the computers and PCs, and means in devices which are not portable, like in the computers and PCs, and we use the SO-DIMM RAM in the laptops. So guys, you have to make sure that it is a DIMM or SO-DIMM while buying it. Guys, one major difference is that DIMM RAMs are much longer, whereas SO-DIMM RAMs are much shorter, so you can distinguish by seeing the images. So guys, these were some things you should be keeping in mind while buying a new RAM. Hope it helps. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel and share the video. Also guys, please comment on what topic do you want my next video, and please don't forget to watch these videos as well.